Access code accepted. There are 5 participants in this conference. All callers are muted. Unmute themselves. All callers are muted. All callers are unmuted. All callers are muted and they can unmute themselves.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you once again with the greeting words of peace from the Lord of the worlds. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. What happened to my coffee? There's your mama to bring my coffee. I want to say that I am the advocate for my people. What do you do when you actually go in court? When you go in court, even though you are the one on trial, because you are not familiar with the laws that, this is in this society, they don't teach you the laws of the land in the school system. They don't teach you the Constitution. You have to go find that out on your own. You have to go, because people make money. They make a living off of your ignorance. I don't say this because I dislike lawyers or whatnot and that kind of thing. I say it because it's a fact. You don't know your rights. You don't know when you go into court. Most of us, when we go into court, we're like babies. We're like sheep being led to the slaughter. And in this world, the devil has been given authority for the past 6,000 years. And most people, just like when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was missioned by Allah, who appeared to him in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Most people, they don't look deep into words, so they, just like you've heard many suggest. I remember in Savior's Day 75, it was said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that Allah was born on February the 26th, 1877. That's not the teachings. That's not what the messenger taught us. He taught us that Master Farad Muhammad was born. You don't speak of Allah as being born, but the person that Allah manifested himself in, that he made an appearance to us in, or to the messenger in, that man was born. Do you understand? So I want you to know that Allah is the truth. The Bible says that the word was God. The Holy Quran says that is because Allah, he is the truth. Okay. Both books agree that the word is God, and sure ain't a lie. It's got to be the truth. Do you understand? A lie don't create nothing but confusion. Do you understand? So it's time that you know the truth. It's time that you know the truth in the real sense of the word. That thank you, baby. It's time that you know the truth in the real sense of the word, and that means intimately. And you don't know the truth intimately until you start acting on the truth. When you start acting on the truth, then you find out uh, uh, the power of the truth that's in the truth. Do you understand? It's just like, many people, this lady asked me why she wanted to know if Bill Cosby had joined the new Nation of Islam, because she hear me speaking out for him. What the question you ought to be asking is, why you Christian brothers of his ain't speaking out for him? What kind of religion you got that only let you speak up for right if the person is called by the name you go by? You heard me speaking out for President Obama, and you know he ain't no Muslim. I'm trying to figure out what's your problem. Why you don't speak up? If you say God is with you, who are you scared of? What kind of people are you? You let some of the low down Caucasian people mess over your people, and you don't say nothing. And then you question me, why am I saying something? All these people coming out against him, it must be true. Where there's smoke. Yeah. I asked some of the brothers and some of the Caucasians that's been in the military, where there's smoke, is there always fire? What is a smoke grenade? There's no fire there. In warfare, they make smoke all the time. Huh? Haven't you ever heard them say business is warfare? What's the first casualty of war? Something that Janice Dickinson said that have been kind of rolling around in my head when she was asked why she didn't put what she was saying in the book. And she said she was afraid of the, legal stuff in so many words, because he's a powerful man. Well, then why she ain't afraid no more? Who backing her? You remember when we was when I showed you that clip on the electric thing when General, what was the Mr. Tesla was approached by what's his name? The the head of his opposition, and he told him, "I'll take you to court." He said, "Well, you can't win." He said, "Yeah, but it'll cost you lots of money." Uh-huh. Is that right? And so, money which he know he didn't have. Anytime you got people coming out making claims like these people are making claims. Another one came out today. Looked like me. Let me see here. Yeah. I don't say us because some of y'all may not like that, but she looked like me. And I happened to be sitting there looking at the thing that's happening in England. Did they ever get that straightened out? The air traffic in England? Y'all didn't know about that? Just a moment. I'll let you see a little of it.
Return now to the Bill Cosby.
But they piggybacked the Bill Cosby thing on that. And so let me see here. Let me get this thing hooked up here. We probably gonna be here a little while tonight, so y'all just bear with us. I even got a letter from a brother in Kenya fussing me out. I thought this might interest you.
Go around again. That's how it's going to work.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chad, but I do have some more new information. This is the latest tweet from NATS, the UK-based global air traffic management company, to be specific. It is now saying that airspace is open, but we're restricting traffic volumes in accordance with capability we currently have in our system. So translate that for us, Renee Marsh.
Well, Carol, I'm just reading this email with you at this point as well. So let's read this one more time. It says that the airspace is open, but we're restricting traffic volumes in accordance with the capability in our system. So essentially, again, we looked at those images on our screen there. You see how many airplanes were in the air just minutes ago. You saw that very cluster of yellow marks there. Those are flights that are in the air. Obviously, they're not going to be able to handle the volume of planes that they would handle on any given day. You just heard Chad say there, the airspace not closed, so meaning you can fly through it. However, you may not be able to land at the airport you were destined to go to. So you will have diversions. So a flight that may have been scheduled to land at Heathrow will not land at Heathrow. It may have to land at a neighboring airport or someplace close by. So pilots will be able to fly through, again, limiting the number of people within a certain area. The key here is making sure that these flights are safely spaced apart. You do not want a situation where they cannot keep these flights in a very crowded situation safely spaced apart. So in order to do that, you need to slow things down. You can't have too many planes in one area, and that's effectively what it looks like they're trying to do here, Carol.
All right, Renee Marsh, Chad Myers, many thanks to both of you. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Carol Costello. At this hour with Berman and Michaela starts now.
This is CNN. Of course, into Europe, and you are talking about an enormous number of flights from the U.S. that will be affected by this, and a number of people who may have their flights canceled, and flights that either will be massively delayed out of Heathrow, for instance, or canceled altogether. So anybody who's traveling in this region or expecting people to be traveling in this region, you can imagine the amount of chaos we're going to have for the next few hours at least, guys.
Yeah, to call London a major hub, Jim, is an understatement. Hundreds of thousands of passengers pass through there every day, and it's not just Heathrow. There are 5 airports in that region. I'm curious because for several minutes, for half an hour, we were heard the airspace over London was completely closed. Now we're being told it's restricted. Why the change? How long might this last?
Well, they were saying that the interesting thing about Europe is you don't just have the FAA where you can go to them and get one answer. In Europe, it's like many other things, it's quite complicated. So Eurocontrol, which is the EU's control center, told us that it was the London airspace was closed due to a computer failure and would stay closed until 2 o'clock Eastern US time. Then we heard from NATS, that's the Air Traffic Control Management Company, to say, well, actually, we're still open, but things are very restricted. It's too early to say it's a computer failure, and then they wanted to say that it is a power outage possibly, and then we're hearing them saying we're just going to call it a technical problem. Well, this is a heck of a technical problem they're having. You think about the amount of airplanes that come through here, and you think of all the backup systems that you would have for this airspace, and something that's gone terribly wrong.
So obviously then, given the three potential options of what it is, they're scrambling all sorts of people there to figure out what is going on. Have you been given a sense of what is being done to fix the problem?
Well, when we first heard that we were going to close the airspace for 3.5 hours, that led me to believe that they're talking about a massive failure, and they would have to sort of start and reboot the system and test it, and that could take a long time. And I think they're probably using, obviously, extreme caution. There is no room for error here. You are talking about airplanes coming into the airport, and then the screens go blank. I mean, they should.
That's a hell of a time for it to go blank, ain't it? When stuff coming in, all right? The 18th chapter of Isaiah. Remind me of that song that Kenny Rogers sung. Pick the fine time to leave me loose here. But here it is. Woe to the land, shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea. Think over that. You know, all of the technology that you have, you notice the major thing that's involved is electrons. You really don't know how vulnerable you really are. But the day of judgment has arrived. Now they went from that to talking about how's California doing? How's the rain doing there? Oh, I know that. You got rock slides and some of everything. But they still ain't changing their mind about the wickedness that they want to keep doing. Huh? Okay. These things are going, the scripture says, shall the Lord of the vineyard do when he comes? Do you know what it means when it says he shall miserably destroy them? Just one calamity after another. When one thing pass over, something else comes. And it's going to keep on coming. Giving you false hope that it's going to pass over one day. It ain't going to pass over. And all your wealth ain't going to help you, boy. Make no difference to you. He said he could have provided stairs of silver and roofs of silver to everybody. But they just became one big disbelieving community. And you watch how most wealthy people act when you correct them or tell them, hey, you need to do better than that. The first thing out their mouth is, who is that so-and-so think he talking to? Then they start making schemes on how they're going to get you. Like I said, Allah didn't put me out here for nothing. He do me, he got me staked out like farmers used to stake out a lamb, or stake out something when he want a wolf. And whichever one of them fall on him, that's his behind his grass. Is that right? Yeah, I put it in your language. See, I speak your language. I grew up in America. I know all them little catchy phrases that you have. you know. Let's see here.
They still have, thank goodness, they still be able to talk to the control centers and to the towers, but for the towers to not to be able to see the planes is something, of course, is a reason why you would see them not just restricting but closing. I think we could take some relief from the fact that they're restricting airspace but not closing it completely.
You know, this is not something you can just control, alt, delete your way out of, Jim. And as you were saying earlier, I listened to you, in theory, what's happened here is those screens that air traffic controllers are looking at just went blank, so you can understand why they're taking safety measures here. Who's in charge? Jim, in the United States, as you said, it is the FAA. Who will now be running this fix? Who will ultimately say it is safe to fly through this airspace?
Well, there is what's called the CAA here, so the Civil Aviation Authority in the UK. Unlike other things in Europe, it is.
I tell you who's safe. Just like in Noah's day, when Noah's son thought he could go someplace for safety, and Noah warned him. With thy Lord is the place of safety today. Isaiah told you. Isaiah said, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. For he shall be for a sanctuary. You know what a sanctuary is? It's a safe place. The messenger said it like this. He said, we don't know where we will be, but wherever he is, we will be where he is. That's what he said. It's just like they got mad at Dr. Cosby for talking about and telling, I'll probably play the little clip for you. But he was talking to black people and told them about, you know, your son gets, your son or daughter gets shot in the back of the head, and you holler about the police. Say, well, what is he doing with the Twinkie or whatever it is he stole? It might not have came out right, but he wasn't trying to justify that. He was telling you, when you know people looking for an excuse to kill you, why give them one? Teach your children when they go in somebody's store or whatever, keep your hands off of the stuff on the shelf unless you're getting ready to buy it. Do you understand? Because we got a history with, like I told you, the reason that they have all these white people, it's not just if I stand up here and say this and don't give you an opportunity to refute it. But you know, as I was looking at Star Trek, I was listening to what Spock had to, you know, I used to love to hear him, his dialogue that they gave him, because it always was something that was logical. And remember when in the Klingon, what was that? The Undiscovered Country. When the Klingons had got a ship that could fire on you while it was cloaked, and they hid up under the Enterprise and shot one of their own ships down with their own president in it, and then went in there and murdered the president, but it looked like the Enterprise had fired on them. And so Mr. Scott, Captain Kirk asked him, did we fire? And Mr. Scott said, no, sir, we did not fire. All of our munitions is in where it belongs. So many words. And they detected some kind of radiation that the ship was emitting that shouldn't have been there. And One of them said, a cloaked ship? And he said, but ships can't fire while they cloaked. He said, well, when you've eliminated the things that are possible, then no matter how far-fetched what's left seems, it must be the truth. Do you understand? Okay. Is it possible that I could work with, sister, ask yourself this question, because I know you all may think that, of course, you know, that women don't get a square deal and that kind of thing. And in some cases, you don't. But ask yourself this question. If you was in a circle of people, like those models are in a circle of, you know, they basically run in the same circles. And you got invited someplace and some big shot movie star, big shot producer made some improper advances to you. Even if you didn't go to the police, do you suppose that when you and the girls, the other women got together that you modeled with, do you think you would tell any of them? Why would you tell them? To do what? To warn them. Huh? How come none of them say that they went back and warned the others? Oh, you can't say that. Why not? Because then they would be asking us, why did you go? Right? And the worst thing, the main thing that a liar hates is that you start asking them questions. Do you understand? You know, truthful people, they always want to know, do you have any questions? Liars, they don't ask you, do you have no question? He hope you don't stop him before he get out of there. He tell it real quick. And yonder he go. Huh? The book says the enemy came and while men slept, an enemy came and sowed tares and went on about his business. Huh? Sowed tares among the wheat. So, you know, I mean, it don't take no. Just answer me that. Did what I say just now not make sense? Wouldn't you think they would have went back and told the other models? Ain't now one of them say, I went back and told the rest of them, because the next thing, if you go after I done told you, then I'm going to tell you, she got what she deserved because I told her, right? That's what you'd have said, right? But they didn't go back and tell nobody. Now, 30 years later, why is this coming up now? We got some other evidence that this one lady, she says she was offered $15,000 to get some photos to seduce Bill Cosby and get some photos. Now, I wouldn't, you know, is it just a coincidence that Janice Dickinson said she had some photos and showed them? They showed the photos she took, Polaroids, right? This lady says she was told to get photos and some sperm. Right? Now, she turned them down. What was her statement? She said, as a legitimate model, this seemed strange and unethical. See, you can't put a jacket on people. You know, the word model could mean a lot of things. It don't necessarily mean getting out in front of a camera and getting naked. It also means that you have a nice build and whatnot. And you'd be surprised how many, the reason that most of the people who model clothing are small and got good shapes and all that kind of thing is because the clothes look good on them. And it makes you envy the way they look and make you want to look like that. Do you understand? So you go buy that, right? Okay. So there are models that don't pose for no calendar. I think she posed for a calendar. From what I heard in the interview there. Okay. Now we know what the calendars is. When I was over in Vietnam, we used to keep up with some of them calendars. Well, it's the truth. I mean, some of the fellas, I've never had one personally, but I used to like looking at them when when the fellas who did have them had them. I'd be thumbing through there. Ain't no sense in me lying. But I used to think to myself, she let her, she getting out there and letting people look at her like that. I couldn't see my sister doing nothing like that. But it was after growing up in Watts, like I did, I saw things. I saw sisters, women getting out. Some fella riding around in a Cadillac. Got them out there selling themselves. So it wasn't really that strange to me, but I thought they was pretty stupid. I think that's, you got to be pretty dumb to let somebody convince you to, and then you find out how they was doing it, telling them you gonna give it away, you just well to get paid for it. And that's that old jailhouse logic. But the love of money will make you think a lot of things that don't make no sense make sense when money is involved. Huh? Oh yeah. As they said, when Mr. Needmo come around, you'd be surprised what you do. Huh? You really find out what's in you when you down and out. You find out what's in other people too. Yeah. All these people talking about they care about, every time you look up, you got some advertisement on TV talking about help these poor children, 50 cents a day would take care of it. And what's some of the rest of them you done seen? The poor little animal, little puppy there, shaking and trembling and going on and being abused. I mean, they can really, and then have the little sister on now. She play on Charmed once. Is that her name? And she be asking for money to help them and that kind of stuff. And it's funny how your hearts go out to all of these people overseas and whatnot, and then you walk right downtown LA, downtown in any major city, and you find a lot of homeless people. A lot of people don't have nothing. But I never see you worrying about them. I was taught that charity starts at home. But anyway, now for white people, look, I think any white person that think that I'm a racist, this is your opportunity. Unmute your phone and tell people that I'm a racist, and tell them why. Because it's just like when it's sometimes these people run game on you because they know you don't know. Anytime someone criticizes the Jewish community or something that they do, you got a lot of them, depending on who you are, they'll come out and call you anti-Semite. That gets it every time. They're always telling you we play some race card. We don't play race cards. I don't play no race card. I tell the truth. But they played that anti-Semite card. They play the race card. That's their solution. That's their answer whenever a black leader might get up and say something about their racism. They accuse him of being the racist. Race ain't got nothing to do with this. Show me where race is involved in this. And then if he start talking, then they won't let him say nothing. Don't let him get it out. Huh? So now explain to me how you know that there is racists on the police force that are white people. You know that. If you really wanted to solve it, you take all white officers out of the black community. From patrolling predominantly black communities, you would put predominantly black officers in that community. If it's all black community, why you need white officers patrolling it? What is the purpose of that? I'll tell you what the purpose of it is. To get a bunch of arrests. You saw that the same thing they pulled on that sister that was just taking pictures, just had her camera going. They figured out a way to charge her with assaulting an officer, had to drop the charge because she got her, her son was able to retrieve what they erased. But I remember when I was in junior high school and was walking home through the alley. I'd have been shot now and wouldn't been here. If I hadn't been behind my sister's apartment, I don't know what made her come outside, but the white police that was patrolled, they patrolled Watts. Swooped up in that alley, said, "Come here." I walked over to the car, and he had his gun out, pointed up. And my sister happened to say, "Marvin?" And I looked around, and he said, "You better get your so-and-so out this alley." That's what he said, and drove off. Now, I didn't ever think about that no more until I became a Muslim and started going back in my mind about stuff that had happened. Then I realized that Allah kept me around here for a reason. You patrol our communities and you look for any opportunity to murder us. And if you can't find an opportunity to murder us, and from time to time you murder us to keep fear in us. That's what that's about. sitting up talking about, why don't he go to court? And in front of who? You can't even get a grand jury to convict white people of outright murder if they got a uniform on. And even if they don't have none on, it's hard. But how many black men sitting up behind bars, sitting up in the cage, because some district attorney and a group of police officers got together and lied on them? Come on in here and tell me that I'm messing up. I'm telling other than the truth. And it done got so bad that even some of their people just can't be quiet no more. Just like this lady, she says she just can't. She see this feeding frenzy on Bill Cosby, and she had to tell it because it's just wrong. See, understand something. You know that being a doctor ain't got nothing to do with what color you are. Being a lawyer, if you know the law and done went through the school system and whatnot, your color ain't got nothing to do with being a lawyer. Being a pilot, that ain't got nothing to do with what color you are. Huh? Whatever you are, if someone say that black pilot over there, that white lawyer over there, that brown engineer over there, just because they use your color to identify who they talking about, don't mean that they saying that because you brown or because you yellow or because you black, that that's what you are. And just because we call the white man the devil, that didn't mean that just because his skin is white, that makes him devil. No, that's not what we was teaching. No. The mind that is devil, we originally put in him and made him that. And he knows that. That's why he coined the phrase, well, speak of the devil. You ain't never heard nobody else say that. But white people, they started that. How many of y'all saw Batman? The Dark Knight Rises. You remember what Bane said? When the boy was asking, where's Bane? Bane walked in and said, speak of the devil, and he will appear. Is that right? Well, most people don't understand that. You are of what's in you. And when you speak of the devil, then the devil is making his appearance in you. Running around here looking for the devil, and you the devil. That's rich, ain't it? A vampire can't see himself, can he? Everybody see him but him. Well, it's the truth. So I want to wake everybody up. You see, ain't no white people coming in here saying that I'm teaching you hatred and all that kind of thing. They know this is the truth. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm always open for somebody to show me that I'm teaching something that ain't right. Too bad we all ain't like that. I'll show you an example. Let's see here. First, let's go on back over here to this and see what they had to say. This next lady that come out that looked like me.
Controlled by
Euro Control advised London ACC.
Scandal, another accused.
website to learn how you may be able.
Return now to the Bill Cosby scandal. Another accuser speaking out, this time top model Beverly Johnson. She joins more than 24 women accusing the actor and comedian of drugging or sexually assaulting them. She told her story in an essay published in Vanity Fair this morning. She gave our Allison Camerata some of those details. Take a listen.
And he gave me the cappuccino. I took one sip and I felt something very strange going on.
I used to drink 151. I used to drink Ripple. I used to drink white port. Any of y'all know something about them some cheap wines. Real cheap. We used to put Kool-Aid in the Ripple. I mean in the white port. The minute you take I done took what you call them Benadryls. And you know, they tell you that Benadryl, you know, that stuff is a depressant. And it will get you high. But I done took one and I didn't immediately feel anything. See, when people lie, they say things that actually, if you're a good listener, you can tell, especially when they saying what they was told to say. Now look, if you took the payoff and couldn't get the, you know, he even offered to pay her. You remember they offered to pay that one lady $10,000 up front, and the other 5 when you bring me the results. Huh? In other words, you keep the 10 and I'll give you 5 more if you get me what I want, right? If they take the money, what if they don't come back with nothing? But they took the money. Well, now, they done already showed what kind of character they may have, right? So if, you know, I mean, this might not be what happened. But at any time that I call on you to come out and say anything about this, I'll let you know when I want you to come out and say it. Huh? Right? I mean, that's one way of looking at it, huh? Now listen to her now. Now she says she took 1 sip, right? Now let's back it up a 4 more bars.
Vanity Fair this morning. She gave our Allison Camerata some of those details. Take a listen.
And he gave me the cappuccino. I took 1 sip and I felt something very strange going on in my head. And then the first sensation was, a little woozy. And so then I took another sip. And after that second sip, I knew I had been drugged. It was very powerful. It came on very quickly. The room started to spin. My speech was slurred. I remember him calling me over towards him as if we were going to begin the scene then. And he placed his hands on my waist. I remember steadying myself with my hand on his shoulders. And I just kind of cocked my head because at that point I knew he had drugged me. And I was just looking at him and I just asked him the question that you are a MF, aren't you? I immediately went into survival mode.
She asked him a question that you are a MF, aren't you? But it didn't make any sense to any of y'all. Okay, now the next thing is, when people come out and say things to me, y'all know me. I listen, and then I'll sometimes tell you, well, what you saying don't make no sense. If that happened, then what about this? Now, I thought he was raping these women. Then why she look at him and ask him, cock her head to the side? She remember cocking her head to the side and looked at him and said, you an MF, ain't you? That's what people say to you when you turn them down about something. Or maybe you catch them in something. Now watch what happens next. Listen to what she say he did next.
Knew that he had drugged me, and I wanted him to know that he had drugged me. So the only word I could get out, and I don't swear, was...
She says she knew that he had drugged. I knew he had drugged me, and I wanted him to know he had drugged me. Wasn't that supposed to be, I wanted him to know that I knew that he had drugged me? But when you're lying, you get nervous. Huh? The truth is its own defense. And it's hard to, man, I done got in fights that I started. And when I got my back tooth broken, almost knocked out, I knew I got what I deserved. Do you understand? I didn't go back looking for no revenge and all that kind of stuff, because I didn't have no business picking that fight. Who moved my stuff? What y'all do with my stuff on the table? I just noticed it's gone. Okay. But now she's standing up there. I'm waiting on her to say he tried to rape her. She ain't said that's it. What was she calling him an MF about then? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, now let's go on. Oh, she called him that because he drugged her, right? Now listen to what happens next. I'm waiting on her to say, I just couldn't believe he was trying to tear my clothes off or whatever. Now listen to what he did next after he supposedly drugged her.
MF. And I kept saying it to him louder and louder. And for a moment, he stood there looking at me like I was crazy, and then it happened very quickly.
You remember when the lady said that they asked her to try to seduce him? Well, that would explain why he'd be looking at her like she was crazy. Huh? Well, she said that. She said he's looking at her like she was crazy. Right? Okay, listen. Oh, have you ever wondered why all of a sudden they bringing one that looked like us up there? Remember I said, don't let white women you got all these white women out here talking about they've been raped and scared to report it. Since when? What America was this in? Okay, let's see now. Let's listen.
Immediately grabbed me and started to drag me towards the stairs that went downstairs to.
I thought she was going to say he grabbed me and was hauled me in the bedroom. She said he grabbed her and began dragging her up to the stairs. That sounds like he about to throw her behind, throw her behind out of there. Is that right? Well, that's what you do when you. I mean, he grabbed her, taking her to the stairs, and listen at the next thing she said he did.
The outdoors, and I was, stumbling around trying to, quickly. He immediately grabbed me and started to drag stairs that went downstairs to the outdoors. And I was, stumbling around trying to, grab my handbag, and I really didn't know where he was taking me, but we ended up outside, and it was dust, so it was pretty light out, and all I remember is him, grabbing me by one arm and him flailing for a taxi with the other. I remember kind of looking around at people, and people really recognizing that, that's Bill Cosby, and a taxi stops, he opens the door and he throws me in there, and he slams the door shut, and I somehow get my address out to the taxi cab driver.
Now they want to spin it for you. That don't need, you can't spin that one. Huh? The spider that got tangled up in their own web. Threw her in a taxi and sent her on her way, which corroborates this, where that lady said that they tried to send her over there to seduce Bill Cosby. Now, if he's raping women, why? I mean, how many other, let's face it, bruh. Some of y'all mad at the man because he told you that you need to pull your pants up. Brother, you do need to pull your pants up. When I was growing up, they used to tell us, tuck your shirt tail in, we used to wear our shirts out, and every grown black man that saw us would tell us, my daddy included, put your shirt tail in, boy. And I'd put it in as long as he was looking. And the minute I got back around the other fellas, out it went. Do you understand? But when we was in school, we tuck it in because they made us. And but I didn't grow up. And once I matured, I recognized the value of, they was just trying to tell us that we should be neat and look like you or something, rather than just walking around looking slouchy. I didn't resent them for that. I resented it when I was a teenager, like all teenagers. That's why I mean, you're supposed to grow out of some things. But it seems like we stuck on stupid. I'm gonna tell you, bro. I'm just glad I grew up in the time where Black pride was being taught. During my teenage years, is just like that what you take for granted. We wasn't always. We didn't always feel proud to be Black. We didn't always call ourselves Black people. You call yourself Black people thanks to the Muslim, which you hate us. Dr. Cosby just told the truth when he told you about the Muslims and how we treat our women and how we treat he's talking about the Muslims that he knew of in America. He wasn't talking about nobody overseas. We teach our children to be respectful. They can play outside and they safe. Everybody know how we feel about our children. So they leave them alone. Ain't gonna bother yours. And don't you bother mine. Men understand that. I ain't gonna take misadvantage of you just because I got lots of brothers or lots of people that will back me up. And so I'm gonna walk around picking fights with people. I'll apologize. I'll back out of a fight with you. As long as you don't put your hands on me. So I'm not here to fight you. But they send these white officers into the Black community knowing that they hate Black people. Remember Mark Furman? They found out that he was once part of one of them racist groups in the O.J. Simpson trial, and he was on the investigation. Nobody never really took that to where it looked like it was leading to. A Jewish man and a Black man and a white woman married to a Black man was being investigated by a racist police. The Jewish man wound up dead, and the white woman, and the Black man got blamed for it. By a policeman that they found out was a racist. Nobody said nothing. Now, what is this? What is seeing these people getting paid to say whatever they are told to say? Do they know whether that woman telling the truth or not? But they sure brought her out there, didn't they? Why? Because the people who have influence, if not own, people who have influence with CNN told them to put that story out there. Huh? And then what do you hear some of our people saying? All them women ain't lying. Huh? All them women ain't lying. What? Now you talk about stuff that make you go, Negro, please. What? them people lying when they told us we was Negroes? Yeah. Called us Negroes. Was they telling the truth? Or was they lying? And kept it going for how long? Told us your people sold you to us. Was that the truth? If that was true, how come didn't know that when some of our people went to Africa and told them that they was from America, they say ain't no black people in America. Well, if they sold us to them, they should be knowing there's some over here. Well, if you believe it, I guess so. Yeah, you know, he told you that. I'll show you an example. You done even seen movies with it telling you that the electromagnetic sphere that surround the earth is the only thing that's standing between us and the microwaves that come from the sun. They burn us up. Did anybody challenge that? He said it. He used to say, if you sail out too far in that ocean, you're going to fall off. And if CNN had been around then, they'd have been parakeeting that. Hey, you say, you're going too far now, nigga. Have I gone too far? No, I ain't went far enough yet. How you know that's a lie? That the sun, the microwaves from the sun will burn us all up. Do the moon have this kind of thing around it? How come them astronauts, when they went up there, didn't burn up? And you know the little paper thin thing, let me show you something here. You know, I likes to be truthful. I don't like to make up no lie to tell you. I like you to just think while I'm talking. Now I want you to look at this. And then you tell me the truth. Now they show you this in the movies. You know, microwaves is tough, man. You can't put no iron pot in a microwave oven if you want to keep it. Is that right? What will it do to it? Will it melt it? Okay. Now, let's look here. Let's see. I likes to be truthful. So we're going to tell the truth and shame the devil. Now look at this, and you tell me what you think. All right? All right. Now, just a moment. I got to put it on there where you can see it. I want you to look at this now.
Leo Jax has the story.
Yes, Claire. It's hard to believe that half of San Francisco is in ruins today, following the most devastating and the most baffling event in our nation's history. It's a horrific situation here. Thousands are dead. Many are missing. It's hotels, hospitals.
Bring up the power grid.
Now remember now, everybody in that movie acting sure look real low, don't it? What is Hollywood known for? Acting. Haven't you ever gotten so hung up in a movie that you couldn't hear the person that was trying to get your attention? They had you, didn't they? The scripture says that if it was possible, the devil would deceive the elect of God. If it was possible. Because he ain't no slouch now. He knows how to make something believable. That's what the devil said he's going to do. He said, I'll make evil fair seeming to him on earth. Huh? It was so fair seeming to us to call ourselves whatever the white man told us we was. We didn't even have sense enough to say, why should I trust you and you the one that made a slave out of me? Why should I trust you? He bring you news about Bill Cosby, and there you go running with it. You ain't even bothered to think. Why is he bringing it now? According to them, the statute of limitations that ran out. So if they had a case, why didn't the police bring a case? Because they didn't have none. So now they making up one. Huh? And then, he already had angered us, He angered a lot of us when he started talking about black people. Yeah, you say, well, he telling us what we ought to do. He ain't did nothing for us. Ain't none of the rest of them people did nothing for us either. Why side with them? I know one thing. As a teenager, Bill Cosby helped me to have more pride in myself. Just from seeing him in the roles that he, as a black man, that was actually being respected as a man. Let me let you see something else. It's one thing for me to just be saying something about him, and you say, well, he black, and no wonder you're talking about. I talk about people that's black that ain't worth two dead flies. I ain't gonna get on here and say it, but in my heart of hearts, I know they low down. But my job is to try to not magnify that. My job is to find some of the good that may be in them and try to cultivate that. At least when I criticize a brother or a sister, I do it out of love and not out of hatred. How you know I do it out of love? Because when they go to correcting themselves and they start trying to explain, I say, you don't have to give me no long drawn out explanation. Let's just go on and go from here. Let's just unite and be better. Wa alaikum assalam.
That black woman that was speaking of, she was scripted. Black women don't talk like that.
Well, I know. Most of our women don't use no language like that unless they kind of on the street. They You know, the average black woman, she don't just use the word MF. We don't do that. Our women don't do that. I never heard my mother curse at all. I never heard my, even though some of the neighbors cursed, I never heard them use that.
What I'm saying is,
Women.
she was scripted. The whole thing, the way she said everything.
Well, I mean, it's clear that she was fabricating.
I turned my head.
Mixing the truth with the lie. Yeah, she turned her head when he shunned her and told her, "You come on out of here, get out of here."
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make that seduce him, and he didn't go for it.
And how many?
That's all. I mean, it's already, the jig is up when one model came out and told on him. So let me get on back to this here.
All right.
So now I want y'all to listen to this. I mean, you know, when you talk to people that ain't got nothing to lose, you listen to people who got nothing to lose, and people that's around a person that work with them day in and day out, and you know, just listen to Robert Culp. He was one of the stars of I Spy. Him and he was Kelly on I Spy.
With Bill Cosby.
Well, Kaz and I went all the way through the same way. He trusted me totally with regard to story. And all that that entails, and all that that embodies, whether it's my writing or somebody else's writing. And I trusted him utterly, obviously, about the comedy. And the only place that we ever stuck assiduously to the script was when I wrote it. He never changed a syllable that I wrote. Because he assumed, and correctly, that I had eliminated all the missteps, and that I wanted it to be written, spoken that way, that those were the words that would tell the story in the shortest possible span. So that was the basis of our professional working relationship. On top of everything else, we how shall I put this? We liked each other enormously. We tried to socialize at the beginning. We tried to take our wives out to the ballet, to dinner, and so forth. By the time we were doing that, and had the evenings to do it, which were rare, when we weren't totally exhausted, we had come to a language of shorthand, a shorthand language, which was based on, like hundreds of punchlines of little personal, meaningless little jokes, which weren't funny to anybody but us. Our wives, both of them, were so offended when we would instinctively lapse into this jargon and leave them out. They were so offended that we had to give up socializing. Because we would both go home and get help from our wives for leaving them in the ladies' room or something. There's been an awful lot with regard to that chemistry, which was unique and never to be replicated. A lot has been written about my teaching Bill how to act. First of all, Frank Silver taught and coached Bill from the get-go, from the very beginning. There was another fellow whose name I can't recall, but Frank Silvera came in. Frank Silvera was a monumentally good actor and a teacher. He came in and sat on the side of the set and coached Bill. He taught Bill how to act, if anybody did, other than Bill Cosby. I never told him anything, ever, except for one thing. At the very beginning, I said one thing. If you try to fill the emotion now with no preparation and no background and no breathing, with no knowledge of what you're doing, if you try to fill the emotion, you will fall flat on your face. Don't bother. Think the thought. That's enough. Think the thought that the character is thinking at that moment. When you know perfectly well what that is, because it's right there in front of you, it's in the script. Just think the thought, and the rest will follow. And that's what he did, and that's what happened. Of course, that has nothing to do with technique. And that came to him because he was that fast. He's the brightest man I ever knew, and God knows he has the fastest mind that I've ever run across in anybody. When it came to race relations, when it came to the fact that there were stations in the South that wouldn't carry us, I said, you want to do anything about that? He said, our statement is a non-statement. That's what it is. And that's where it lies, and that's what's going to make it funny. That will make it possible for us to be funny and have fun and get laughs and go free. We can't do it any other way. That's the way it should be. That's the way it is. And let them make it that, whatever they see fit. It'll work. It just takes a little bit of patience. That's out of Mr. Cosby's mouth. And I said, dead on, partner.
Now that was the man that worked with him, showing you what he thought of him. In other words, Bill Cosby wasn't no dummy. And if he was a dummy, how come the people had to try to seduce him and get something to hold over his head? Why did they all come back dry? And if he drugged them, how come the ones who sent them in there, who was looking for somebody to seduce him, didn't take them to a toxicologist or a clinic and find the drugs in there and say they didn't have that in them when they went in there and he come out of there drugged? They would have brought charges against him. What they bringing against him now, they using him to deceive you. See, they're not deceiving Dr. Cosby. He knows that the truth. It's us that don't know the truth. And when you don't know, people think they can tell you anything. And if you're a baby or an ignorant person, they can. But you know, even in mathematics, that's the truth. The messenger said this about Islam and the truth. He said, Islam goes as far back as the root of mathematics. And the root of mathematics goes as far back as Islam. He said, Islam is equally as true as mathematics. And mathematics is equally as true as Islam. What he meant by that is that you have to, in order to get at the truth, you need truth. It takes truth to prove truth. Do you understand? It takes math to prove math. And the wonderful thing about math is there are certain things in math that when you don't know, You can solve for that which you don't know. They have a method and a formula for solving for the unknown. Do you understand? Okay. Now you look at all these people, just like I showed you all of the, see, in circumstantial cases, which is what that would be. Because ain't none of them got no witnesses. It's just their mouth against Dr. Cosby. Right? And you notice him making non-statements that ain't new. What did Robert Culp say that when he asked Bill, how would we go with all of this segregation and all this stuff? He said, say nothing. Right? And he didn't say nothing. All his life, he's been quiet about that, haven't he? And you expect him to change now? How many of you think that something has been proven against Bill Cosby? I'd like to hear you come and explain to me what proves the case for these people that's accusing him. Explain to the audience. I won't cut you off. Come on. Come and tell us what you've heard in evidence that proves that he's wrong, other than a whole bunch of people claiming that he did something to them. I mean, I can understand if it had been 4 or 5 coming up. Now you got 20-something people and more coming. Good gracious, man. I want to show you something here, because this is the game they're trying to run on us now. And I would like all of you to you notice a man put on a suit and tie. White folks know how we think. First of all, they know how they done train their people too. All they have to do is claim somebody is an expert. Claim he's a scientist. Send him out there. I mean, if they look, man, they say Jesus is the Son of God, right? Matter of fact, they say Jesus is God in the flesh, right? They even dress white folks up and tell them, you want to be Jesus? Send him out there. Am I lying or telling the truth? But look, I want y'all to locate me some pictures of Jesus. And I'll show you how many of them they got. They laugh and they say, they know the jig is up. Now, but let's get back to this. Look at this here.
Richard Oldham was analyzing seismograph readings caused by a large earthquake when he saw something odd. As the vibrations from the quake reverberated, they did not arrive at the center of the earth as expected. It was as if they'd hit an obstacle. Oldham realized the obstacle must be the innermost part of the earth, a dense mass hard enough to have deflected the seismic waves from going all the way through. Oldham had discovered the Earth's core. It was a landmark discovery because it set the stage for the work of another scientist who was about to help revolutionize our understanding of what was happening inside the Earth.
Now you notice he said he discovered the Earth's core. Ask me, you been there? See how they say things, they just throw something out there. And you say, well, how'd you do that? When did you go? He gives you his theories, his guesses, and he teaches it like it's a fact. Huh? So just listen. Now, this is the same man that was teaching for a fact that you had to burn a witch. This is the same man that's been teaching for a fact that the earth is flat, and if you go too far in any direction, you fall off. And this wasn't no 6,000 years ago. This was a little over 600 years ago he was teaching this. Huh? Now he telling us, he just got here 6,000 years ago, and he telling us what the core of the earth looked like. He done discovered the core of the earth. And we just take it and lop it up. Next thing you know, what we doing? Parakeeting it. I had a brother tell me the dinosaurs, they actually turned into birds. I mean, really. That's one of them, that's one of them Jack Benny moments. Y'all don't know nothing about Jack Benny, do you? I used to love to watch Jack Benny because, boy, he could zing you. You know. You know, just a word or two, and they give you a look that told everything, didn't it? Yeah, well, anyway, look at this.
With Oldham's discovery, many believed the picture of the Earth's core was complete. But in the early 1930s, Inge Lehmann wasn't so sure. Lehmann was a Danish seismologist who worked extensively in Denmark and Greenland, studying the velocity of seismic waves from earthquakes. In 1936, she was analyzing the seismic waves from an earthquake that had occurred several years earlier. Seismological stations around the world had made recordings of the same quake. By comparing their readings, Lehmann calculated that as the seismic waves had passed through the Earth's core, there was a change in their velocity, as if they had encountered another boundary of some kind. Then it occurred to her, something was missing.
Now they're talking really technical, ain't they? You ever made a wave and watch waves in water? Do they stay the same or do they gradually dissipate? Well, what was that statement about? She noticed a change in the, hey, I ain't tell you anything, cause what? You ain't listening no way. Cause they white, you don't need to, they talking over my head. Yeah. You know, they make themselves look so smart. If they're so smart, why the educational system of America is 28th on the list of the rank of educated people and countries with educated people? How did America get to be 28th? And it was done on purpose. Because everybody know in order for people to, in order for the economy to thrive, notice they don't say the people to thrive, they say the economy. See, you think they're talking about you. Man told them that in order for the economy to thrive, some people got to suffer. You got to keep some people raking and scraping and having to spend money on everything. If everybody become productive, the economy breaks down. Because the more you can produce for yourself, the less you have to buy from somebody else. That's why, you know, they had to turn you against Marcus Garvey. I mean, Bill Cosby, not the first black man that they went to work on discrediting in your and my eyes, at least trying to. They tried to do it with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but God was with him. Just like he's with me. Don't you think it's kind of strange that none of them news media people want to talk to me? So they can show you that I'm stupid? Fox ain't even called me. You would think they'd have been anxious to talk to this fool. Huh? They're always putting somebody out there in front of you and showing you how foolish he is. Anyway, just listen.
From the accepted structure of the Earth's interior. The Earth didn't just have one core, it had two. The core that Layman had found was the Earth's inner core. Today, through precise seismic measurements, we know that it's made of solid iron. Solid because gravity at the center of the...
They don't even know how to tell the thing. Why don't you say the core has two parts? It got two cores. How can it have two cores? You see, but they tell you anything. Right? That's what they've been doing, telling us anything and teaching us nothing. Pi used to be what? 3.14. Well, if pi was 3.14, why did it change to 3.1416? They just said it's 3.1416 now, right? And they can always tell you it's something else and have you thinking that, ooh, they're so smart, because they don't never tell you the root of it. It ain't much left on this. I'll let you finish it.
Pressure 3 million times the pressure it exerts on the surface. The core that Richard Oldham had discovered turned out to be the Earth's outer core. It's made of liquid iron and other elements, a hot churning mass that generates electric currents, which in turn create the magnetic field that protects the Earth from dangerous cosmic radiation. Together, the two cores that Oldham and Layman discovered form a massive structure over 4,000 miles in diameter, slightly larger than the planet Mars. At the center of the core, the temperature can be as high as 13,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2,000 degrees hotter than the surface of the sun.
And that's what he said. And then you goes and parakeets it all. Ain't asked for no proof or nothing. You've been there, you done measured the temperature. But he tell you all of these things. And me, if I'm silly enough to accept it. Just like he told me I was a Negro, and just like he told me that dinosaurs used to be roaming the earth. And a big ice age that was caused by a meteor striking the earth a few million years ago, wiped them all out. Froze them to death. Huh? And then somehow their bodies, as they decayed, their bodies became what we call fossil fuel now. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure we got it right. If I got it wrong, y'all straighten me out if that ain't what he teach. I don't want to lie on nobody. If you got to lie on people in order to make your case, you need to leave them people alone. Because your lie gonna find you out. Just like his is finding him out now. Now let's go to something else here. I want you to see that we are being what you call targeted, and I want you to see how we're being targeted. I want all of you when you get a chance, it ain't got to be right away. I'll let them tell you. Let me see here. I want you to see this.
Oh, it's 15 down now. Ew.
Hey guys, today on What to Watch Before You Die, it's a movie that'll leave you feeling sly, slick, and ever so smooth. I'm talking about The Sting.
Just on the cover. Good. All right. I give you the breakdown just like you said. Yeah. It's good. He tried to kill me. I'll kill you. Glad you know you're not getting to him.
In 1930s Depression-era Chicago, two small-time professional grifters accidentally get caught in the big leagues after unintentionally intercepting an $11,000 drop. The mob boss, whose delivery man they accidentally conned, makes...
Let me look that up for you. Grifter. Grifter. I think it's just one F in it. Grifter. Oh, excuse me. I'm still on Wikipedia here. Let me get that back. Money made dishonestly, as in swindle. A swindle or confidence game. That's a grift. A grifter is someone who runs that game. You understand? You know how you say, man, you trying to run a game on me, or what? Huh? That's just another word for swindling. You trying to swindle me. You trying to trick me out of my money. Huh? Okay, now, let's go back to what they were saying there. So, you know, they rent this movie online for a little bit of money. You can't record it. They won't let you do that, but they will let you see little clips of it. It will really help you to understand some things. So look at this, and you see what I'm talking about.
An example out of Robert Redford's Partner, prompting Redford to team up with Paul Newman for the ultimate revenge plot. Here's what I watch. Accidentally conned makes an example out of Robert Redford's Partner, prompting Redford to team up with Paul Newman for the ultimate revenge plot. Here's what I watch. After 1969's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Redford, Newman, and director George Roy Hill teamed up again, bringing the magic back together for 1973's The Sting.
Glad to meet you, kid. You're a real horse's ass.
Screenwriter David S. Ward, who based his story off of real-life con games, always had Redford in mind to play the role of Johnny Hooker.
Based his story off of what? Real life what? Con game. Let's see here. Well, who's being conned? Let's see.
But wanted to direct the film himself. Redford, however, would only sign on if a more seasoned director was attached. In walked George Roy Hill, who happened to show the script to Newman, and then boom. After a few rewrites to make sure that Newman had a more dynamic role, the trio's flame was suddenly reignited for another hit flick. Director Hill was highly influenced by 1930s gangster films, which is evidenced in his old school cinematography and editing. With subdued coloring, transition swipes and irises, and title cards like the Saturday Evening Post to break up the film, Hill romanticizes a bygone era where you're ultimately rooting for the bad guy grifters because they're just so charismatic. Adding to the vintage appeal was costume designer Edith Head, who won her 8th Oscar for her gangster duds in The Sting. She accepted her award saying, quote, "Just imagine dressing the two handsomest men in the world and then getting this." Her Oscar. Interestingly, the costume illustrator, who was apparently the true designer of Redford and Newman's 1930s apparel, later sued Edith for taking all the credit. Drama! If you don't know who I'm talking about, Edith was nominated 35 times and was immortalized in The Incredibles.
Fine. I will also fix the hobo suit.
Scott Joplin's piano rides were adapted by Marvin Hamlish to create an upbeat soundtrack that's instantaneously recognizable. Ragtime music was initially popular decades before the 30s when the movie takes place, but the style is a perfect juxtaposition to what is actually happening on screen, relieving tension and providing an overall lighthearted feel to the movie. As soon as the film was complete, Universal knew they had something special on their hands. After releasing the movie over the Christmas holiday in 1973, audiences were immediately in agreement, falling in love with the chemistry between Redford and Newman all over again, and returning to the theater to look for clues they may have missed from a twisting narrative that leaves you always wondering what's going to happen next.
He runs a numbers record on the south side. He owns a packing house, a few banks.
Yeah, and half the politicians in New York and Chicago are fixing this world gonna cool him out if he blows on you.
I'd get him anyway.
Why?
Because I don't know enough about killing to kill him.
The Sting won Academy Awards for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, Best Art Direction, Best Film Editing, Best Music, and as I said before, Best Costume Design. 7 things. It was also the only film to garner a Best Leading Role nomination for Robert Redford. Surprising, right? Cinematographer Robert Surtees was also nominated. Look him up. He was the DP on like everything, including a previous What to Watch at, The Graduate. Check out The Sting, for a gangster film with a little of everything. A witty narrative with plot twists carried out by a strong cast, and cinematic beauty. Be sure to let me know what you think of it in the comments below.
You're on, kid. I can tell you it's a hard act to follow.
Subscribe to Cinefix for more What to Watch Before You Die in conjunction with Sundance TV every Thursday. Follow me on Insta at MacWall and hashtag WhatToWatchBud to suggest more movies. And you can check out The Sting and other movies from the list every Sunday on Sundance's 1001 Movies to Watch Before You Die.
And it's called The Sting. And I'll show you another clip from it. This is an example of what I was talking to you about, the pigeon drop. Remember I told you about the pigeon drop?
Suckering! Don't let him get away. He's got my wallet. Who else? He's got all my money. My wallet. He's got my wallet.
We got it. What happened? Give it to me, please. You get you with a knife? Hey, you sit tight, old man. You need a doctor. I'll call a cop.
No cops.
You want about the law or something?
No, it's okay.
Are you nuts carrying a water around like that in a neighborhood like this? No wonder you got hit.
Thanks. I'm obliged to you. But I gotta get going.
You ain't going nowhere from this way.
Let me see. I gotta run some slots down in West Bend for a mob here. I got a little behind in the payoffs, so they figure I've been holding out on them. They gave me till 4 to come up with the cash. They don't get it. I'm dead.
That don't look good, Gramps. It's almost 4 now.
I'll give you and your friend $100 to deliver it for me.
I don't know. That mug that hit you is mad enough at me already. Well, what if he's around the corner waiting with some friends?
He won't know you're carrying it. Come on, you gotta help me out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, pal. I'm gonna maybe help you get fixed up, get to a doctor, but I ain't about to walk in and no knife for you.
How about you? All you gotta do is to put it in the no slot. I'll give you the whole 100.
Hey, what makes you think you can trust him? He didn't do shit.
Hey, butt out, chicken liver. I gave him back the wallet, didn't I? How far is this place? 1811 Mason. Put in box 3Cs. You won't have no trouble. There's $5,000 there. And here's $100 for you. Okay, old man, I'll make your drop for you. And don't worry. You can trust me.
Hey, if those goons decide to search you, you ain't gonna get far carrying it there.
What'll we do?
You got a bag or something? How about a handkerchief?
Here's a handkerchief.
Here, give it to me. Give me the money.
Just hurry, will you?
You got any more? Better give it all to me if you want to keep it.
They think I've been holding out on them. My wife got sick and I had to pay the bills. I wasn't holding out on them. I always been good for the money before,
Like
but
that.
this
Got
time
it?
they gave me a
Uh-huh.
deadline.
Yeah.
Hurry, will you?
Ain't a tough guy in the world that's gonna frisk you there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Where to? Which way's Mason? 20 blocks south. Okay, go north. Joliet Station. Back. Right. What's so funny? I just made the world's easiest $5 grand. Come on, hold on, big hustle.
Now, I'm not going to tell you the plot. You'll enjoy the movie. I know I did. The scriptures say a man is known by his works. You want to know what's in a person? Look at what they do. Now, I'll show you something else. It's just another little clip from it. Now, you saw they ran a game on that fella that thought he was finna, they picked him out and ran a con on him, right? Okay. He thought he was finna get something from them for nothing, and they got it out of him, didn't they? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Honor Road, your caller for the 4th race, the mile and 1/16th Mansfield Handicap at Narragansett Park, Rhode Island. $13,000 added, 3-year-olds and up. The flag is up, and they're off and running. It's Bubblesome going to the front, followed by Lady High Gloss, Vote Boy, Chancing, Beefsteak, Curry Patch, and Blue Note trails the field. Around the clubhouse turn, it's Bubblesome ahead, Chancing a half, Lady High Gloss by 1, followed by Vote Boy, Beefsteak, Curry Patch, and Blue Note. Into the second turn, it's Chancing by a length. Lady High Gloss driving on the rail, and Boat Boy followed by Bubblesome, Beefsteak, Curry Patch, and Blue Note. Now it's Chancing. Lady High Gloss a half, Boat Boy by 1.
Lady High Gloss is a hell of a finisher. Chance is going to have to open up a little more on it.
Backstretch, it's Chancing by a next.
Well, that's enough out of horse named Blue Note.
Nah, he never done much. Probably in there just to round out the field. Chance is where you want to have your money.
Chancing second, followed by Boat Boy, Beefsteak, Bubblesome, Blue Note, and Curry Patch.
Yeah, how did
Home, it's Lady High Gloss by a neck, Chancing by 1, and here comes Blue Note driving on the outside.
Nice work here. He loves it.
He's third. Chancing is shortening stride, and now it's Lady High Gloss and Blue Note. They're head to head. They're neck to neck. It's Lady High Gloss, Blue Note, Lady High Gloss, Blue Note, and Blue Note wins it by a nose. Lady High Gloss is second by 3, and Chancing is third by 1. They got off fast to 36. The winner, Blue Note, paid $16, $9.40 and $6.
So you want to have your money in Johnson, huh?
$4 and $2.80. Chancing paid $3.80. Time for the mile at 1:60, 1:44 and 1. They're going to the gate at Belmont, and here are the late odds.
Hope those garbage men belong to you. Well, get them out of here and don't bring them back. This is a class joint. Hey, you, Charlie. Yes, sir. Run those bums out of here.
15 and Peralta 20.
Mr. Shaw, could I don't give me any of your lip, kid.
Up at Belmont Park.
I run them out of here.
Lincolnfield, the winner is Panic Relief. Barbara A. is second, and My Gal shows. Time for the 3/4 mile, 1:11 and 4. The winner, Panic Relief, paid $12.40, $8.20, and $5. Barbara A., $6.20 and $4. Wilder paid $4. We're at the post at Belmont at 38. We're waiting on that one. I'll call Belmont next.
That's it, fellas.
everybody in the room was lying. Running game on that one man. Do you understand? Okay, let's see where it led to. You got to see the movie. These little clips won't really bring it home, but it will help you to kind of understand the depths of the mind.
$500,000 to win. Lucky down, third race at Riverside.
Post time for the third.
You heard me.
27.
Hold on, sir.
Oh, there's a jockey
Get the manager.
in the fourth of Belmont. Jay Stout will ride Flying Cross. And Scratch.
See that guy up there? He just put $500,000 on Lucky Dan.
The winner at Rockingham Park, Infin, paid $610, $430, and $250.
What's your problem? I'm putting $500,000 on Lucky Down to win third race at Riverside.
Can't lay that off in time. A bet like that could break us.
Not only are you a cheat, you're a gutless cheat as well.
What are the odds?
4-1.
Take all of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Honor Row, calling the third race at Riverside Park in Kansas City. This is a climbing race for $1,500 for 3-year-olds and up. It's been raining and the track is muddy. The flag is up, and they're off and running. Dr. Twink is going to the front, followed by Lucky Dan, I'm a Dreamer, Orkin, Josie G, Chi-Chi, and Little Star. Around the clubhouse turn, it's Lucky Dan ahead. Dr. Twinkling, Orkin a half, followed by I'm a Dreamer, Josie G, Chi-Chi, and Little Star. Into the back stretch, it's Lucky Dan a length. Dr. Twink a half, Orkin ahead. I'm a Dreamer by 1, followed by Josie G, Chi-Chi, and Little Star. Around the turn,
nothing to worry
Dan
about.
ahead. Dr. Twinkling, Orkin a
Put it
half,
all on
followed
Lucky
by
Dan.
I'm a Dreamer, Josie G,
$500,000 to win.
Star. Into the far turn, it's Lucky Dan, still a link. Dr. Twinkle next. It's Lucky. Into the stretch. Ahead. I'm a Dreamer a half. Dr. Twinkle a half and Orkin by 2. Followed Little Star and Josie G. And it's a driving finish.
It's been a mistake. Give me my money back. No, I'm sorry. I can't. It's been a mistake. Give me
Want his money back. Now, let's see the last little clip here.
All right, everybody, FBI. Don't anybody try to leave. Stand on your feet, put your hands over your head, and go nice and slow. Snyder! All right, get him up against the wall. Make sure they're not carrying anything.
Hello, Henry. It's been a long time. But it's over. Okay, kid, you can go.
All right, it's that hands up. Come on. Come on, move him back.
Get him out.
Get him out! Come on. Gotta get you out of here. Shoot. Come on! But my money's in there! There's a couple of dead guys in there, too. You can't get mixed up in that. Governor, there's $500,000 in there.
He's gone. Okay, Henry, all clear.
Now, who was that saying that all these people can't be lying? They're not running game on Dr. Cosby because Dr. Cosby knows it's a game. The ones that's being gamed on is us who listening to all of this stuff. They know what they done trained. How many times have you heard people say, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. All these people ain't lying. Oh, no? One thing about it, all of them Hollywood ain't. That's strange. One question that was asked, I wonder who Bill Cosby done made mad. They just said peed off. Because what? You got these people coming out accusing him all out the woodwork after 30 years. And nobody but Hollywood would try to make something like that go. Hey, you sitting up talking about he ought to come out and sue him and do this. That's all they would like, is for him to get tied up in court with a bunch of liars. If they had truth on their side, they wouldn't have had to wait no 30 years. Now, would they? So, you know, I ain't going for it. And I hope you don't go for it. Now you done seen grifting. And they know about it. They the one that show that. Whole group of people get together and make up a lie to sell somebody. Huh? Only they didn't run it on Dr. Cosby, they ran it on us. With the, you know, the news media, you know who paid them people salary. You think they can get up there and start saying, oh, look, I don't know if this is true or not. Well, you want to keep your job. You just read the prompter there. Huh? We'll give you the news to report. Why you think, let me show you here. You done forgot, ain't you? I got to refresh your memory. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it here. This might be it here. I'll tell you in a minute.
On deficit reduction has just 3 days to reach the $2 trillion from the nation's debt, using some combination of cutting and raising taxes at the heart of those negotiations. And some would say the person responsible for the deadlock is neither a member of Congress nor the holder of any public office. He's a lobbyist and a conservative activist named Grover Norquist, who over the years has gotten virtually every Republican congressman and senator to sign an oath called the Pledge. It's a promise that they will never, under any circumstances, vote to raise taxes on anyone. And so far, Grover is held for 79 votes. The Speaker of the House, the Senate Minority Leader, 6 Republican members of the Joint Committee on Deficit Reduction.
A lot of people think you're the most powerful man in Washington.
The tax issue is the most powerful issue in American politics going back to the Tea Party. People say, oh, Grover Norquist has power. No. Grover Norquist and Americans for Tax Reform focus on the tax issue. The tax issue is a...
Even that is a farce. The colonists wasn't against paying taxes. That wasn't what the issue was. The issue was taxation without representation is tyranny. That's what they said. They understood that you need to pay taxes to sustain your government, but they wanted a say-so in the government, right? See how he gonna rewrite history now. But listen.
Powerful issue.
Grover Norquist is trying to be modest. Since creating Americans for Tax Reform at Ronald Reagan's behest back in 1985, Norquist has been responsible more than anyone else for rewriting the dogma of the Republic.
The Republicans won't raise your taxes. We haven't had a Republican vote for a income tax increase since 1990.
And this was your doing?
I helped. Yeah.
It began with a simple idea of getting Republicans all over the country to sign an oath called the Taxpayer Protection Pledge, promising their constituents that they would never, ever vote for anything that would make their taxes go up.
Speaker Gingrich's tax pledge back in 1998.
And once they signed the pledge, Grover Norquist never forgets. The more signatures he's collected, the more his influence has grown.
I think to win a Republican primary, it is difficult to imagine somebody winning a primary without taking the pledge.
The signatories not only include more than 270 members of Congress, all Republican president candidates, with the lone exception of John Huntsman.
Okay, folks, we want to get going?
Now, I have a question to any of you all who are economists. How can any congressman take an oath or a pledge to never raise taxes or the marginal income tax or whatever he claiming? How can he take a pledge to not ever raise taxes? As you know, the population of the country has grown. More programs for the well-being of the citizens of the country has been implemented. The cost of living in the country, in the world has gone up. The certain things that were necessary for the government to be effective makes it unethical and impossible for Congress or the government to keep up with the demand that is placed upon it if you done took an oath not to raise the money to pay for things that's in the best interest of the country. The people of America are not opposed to doing what's in their best interest. Huh? But what if you don't care about the best interests of the people? Then the first thing you do is you dumb them down. You defund education. Because George Washington told you that since in this form of government is purely elective, then it is very important. It is of utmost importance to I'm trying to use his words. I don't like misquoting people. I would much rather say it directly as he said it. Just a moment. Let me find my George Washington. It's here somewhere. Just a moment. I know I got it here somewhere. Let me see. It was in his farewell address. We like to make sure where he talked about the importance of setting up institutions of learning to educate the people that the people who elect, since the people elect the presidents and elect the government, then the votes should be done by enlightened people. Then you have to encourage the establishment of institutions that enlighten the people, right? But they do just the opposite. So this is what he warned them about, some of the pitfalls. And so, yeah, and that's enough said on that. But listen to what this interview with Grover Norquist reveals.
All that leverage has made Norquist's Wednesday breakfast meetings a must-attend event for Republican operatives fortunate enough to get an invitation. David Keene, the president of the National Rifle Association, was there the day we attended, along with conservative columnist John Fund.
This is the Grand Central Station of the conservative movement.
We were told it was the first of us who have ever been allowed into the weekly off-the-record strategy session.
Our approach is going to be to just simply drill away every day. It's people from Capitol Hill, House and Senate, think tanks, Tea Party groups, business groups, everybody who wants the government to be smaller, who wants the government to leave them alone. I intend to win. I intend to be part of the whole effort to crush the other team.
Grover Norquist has been called both the dark wizard of the right's anti-tax cult and the single most effective conservative activist in the country. He is a libertarian ideologue who believes that Washington is controlling our lives through the taxes it raises to fund big government. And he said that he wants to shrink it to the size where it could be drowned in a bathtub.
You want to drown it in the bathtub?
No, we want it down to the size to where it would fit in the bathtub. And then it could worry about what we're up to.
And you did say that your ultimate ambition was to chop it in half and then shrink it again to where we were at the turn of the century. You're talking about 1900, not 2000.
Well, I think
8% of GDP.
Yeah, we function in this country with government at 8% of GDP for a long time and quite well.
That was before Social Security, it was before Medicare, it was before welfare assistance, unemployment assistance. Is that the federal government you envision?
Each of these government programs was set up supposedly in name to solve a problem. Okay, do they solve the problem? Could the problem be better solved through individual initiative? I mean, I think we found under welfare that it would do more harm than good.
Do you feel the government has any obligation to the poor, or the elderly, or the unemployed?
Yeah, it should stop stepping on them, kicking them, and making their lives more difficult.
Norquist claims he got the idea to brand the Republican Party, a party that would never raise your taxes, when he was just 12 years old and volunteering for the Nixon campaign. He says it came to him one day while he was riding a school bus.
If the parties would brand themselves the way Coke and Pepsi and other products do, so that you knew what you were buying in quality control. I vote for the Republican, he or she will not raise my taxes. I'll buy one. I'll take that one home.
So this is about marketing.
Yes, it's a part of that. Yeah, very much so.
But Norquist says the success of any product requires relentless monitoring and diligent quality control to protect the brand, whether it's Coca-Cola or the Republican Party.
Let's say you take that Coke bottle home, and you get home and you're 2/3 of the way through the Coke bottle, and you look down at what's left in your Coke bottle, there's a rat head there. You wonder whether you'd buy Coke ever again. You go on TV and you show them the rat head of the Coke bottle.
You say quality control. Well, if we want quality control, I thought y'all wanted to be free. Here they talking about controlling the Republican Party. I thought the Republican Party was supposed to represent the ideology of the people who are Republicans and Republican Americans that make up their own minds about voting. Huh? Here, Grover Norquist talking about controlling the congressional Republicans. Nobody see nothing wrong with that. But I guess it depends on how you sell it, huh? For instance, I'll show you an example. If I gave you a dish, a bowl with some dried leaves, some tore up paper, and some glue, and set it on fire and said, here, breathe this, you'd cuss me out. Well, ain't that what a cigarette is? Dried leaves, paper, and glue, right? But it's rolled up real pretty and put in a nice pretty package and tell you, I'd say, here, buy this and breathe this. Light it up and breathe it. And you go and buy it without a second thought, simply because of the packaging and the way it was presented. Okay.
Call your friends and tell them about it and Coke's in trouble. Republicans who vote for a tax increase are rat heads in a Coke bottle. They damage the brand for everyone else. There's nothing in the federal
Grover Norquist is not interested in compromise. He likes things ugly and takes no prisoners. Those who refuse to sign the pledge or backslide are subjected to primary fights against well-funded opponents backed by Norquist.
These are people.
I'll tell you something else. Those who push racism could care less about your race. Did you hear what I said? The ones who really push you into the thinking of racism, they ain't care nothing about nobody's color. They just took that and divided you against each other. You know, because while you fighting each other, you ain't got time for what they doing. So they keep you fighting each other. While they just keep taking your money and doing whatever they please with it. And they say you know what you deserve because you're stupid. You know, that this is, I'm not saying that they're right. I'm simply saying that whenever a con man, see, even con men have consciences. They just ignore them. And their thinking is, they're devils that teach them to con you in order for them to sleep good, sleep at night, sleep any. They have to feel justified in what they're doing. So they'll say things like anybody that's stupid deserve what they get. Huh? Because, you know, really, I mean, it was stupid for him to even believe what I said, right? If I don't do it, somebody gonna do it. Gonna take it from him, right? You know, it's just like I got a letter from somebody over in Kenya. And his name is Maurice Bolo Gimbu. And it says religion, and it says Christianity, Islam, Judaism, etc. And his religion is Kingdom of God. And his comments were, you are not the Son of Man in the prophecy of the Holy Scripture. You are a scammer. And now I am stopping you not to continue. Whatever that is. Muhammad and Islam do not believe in Christ and accept his message of the good news of the kingdom of God, which lasts forever and ever. Now, how anybody could be listening to me and say, I don't accept the gospel, I don't know how they can do that, since I'm always reading from the gospel. But anyway, he goes on to say, Christ is coming at midnight on Tuesday, the 23rd of December, 2014, to my room. And Christ will judge everyone on earth from one end to the other at 9 hour. At the 9th hour, I guess that means, in the morning on Sunday, the 31st of May, 2015. Those who oppose Christ, God, Lord, will be totally destroyed. Christ will thunder against them from heaven. Islam denied authority of Christ and his crucifixion, but they neither witness nor have proper information. I will neither shout nor cry out and raise my voice in the streets to be seen by other religion or denomination. I will make everything right among the nations, and I will not give up until I make everything right on earth. I will remain faithful to Christ, God, Lord, forever and ever, not even tasting death. 120 people were killed in Islam mosque in Nigeria, as the law of nature that where they worship is vultures gathered together, because there are dead bodies. This to be confirmed with disciples who gather together during the day of Pentecost. And that's in Acts 1 and 15. They were 120. Matthew 24 and 28. Muhammad and his followers, who are the author of the Quran, are the dead bodies, and they did not ascend to heaven, but they died and were buried on earth. But Christ ascended to heaven and is the author of the Bible. Ahmed Deed, who was Antichrist, was speaking evil things against heavenly beings and refused to be corrected. And now he ended with mouth wide open as a lesson to all Islam. Well, yeah, you know, it's amazing to me how all of these people claim to be religious and lovers of God, so bent on killing people. I thought the book says the Son of Man came not to destroy men's lives, but to save them. Then instead of walking around wishing people dead, why you don't reason with people and try to convince them with truth that what they have is not the truth, like I'm doing? Because you won't come in here and talk to me. You want to write me a note. But anyway, let's get back to this Grover Norquist thing here.
Well, North Carolina, who voted for attack base when they said they wouldn't. And down here in blue is which ones were defeated in the next election.
Was there any set of circumstances in which you would condone a tax increase or release people from the pledge?
The pledge is not to me, it's to the voters. So an elected official who says, I think I want to break my pledge, you don't look at me and say.
You see, he'll never tell you what they voted for the tax increase to accomplish. He'll just say they voted for a tax increase. Well, what was it for? Shouldn't that be asked? If they thought it was worth potentially losing their seat in Congress, then what is it that they thought was worth that? But they grifting on you. You understand what I'm saying? Using the media to grift the whole country and the world. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake that burneth with fire and brimstone. Let's go a little further here.
That he looks at his voters and say that. That's why some of them look at their voters, don't want to say that, and they go, "How about you? Could you release me from my place?" No, I can't help you. You didn't promise me anything.
But you're the keeper of the pledge.
We remind your voters that you took the pledge.
You are the
That's
ones
true.
that are going to retaliate if they break the pledge.
Oh, no. The voters will retaliate. We may inform the voters. But let's...
No. We may, what did he say? Nah, we may inform the voters. In other words, we have the power of the media, and we can tell people to think whatever we want them to think, as long as we keep them dumb. That's why they want the internet to be under their control too. You understand? But the people are waking up. And I'm telling you that soon, everybody gonna be awake to the fact that we've been being played by a few crooks with most of the money, and that owns the airwaves, and playing us one against the other based on petty differences like your color and your religious beliefs and all of that. All of those things could be, for instance, color. That could have been done away with. All they had to do was tell people who the original man is. Because the original man is the father of all the others. Huh? And then you find out that instead of looking at each other as enemies, you see that you are family. Huh? They don't want you to look at each other as family. Otherwise, they can't make no money off of you killing each other. Don't nobody want to kill their brother, but they do want to kill their enemy. That's what they've been taught to do. And then the people who own the factories that make the bombs, who own the factories that make the planes that carry them, who own the munitions industry, they just get richer and richer while you keep murdering each other and passing that legacy from one generation to the next, teaching your children to go and murder other human beings based on nothing but lies. That's the first thing Yaqub taught the devil to do. That's the mind that he put in the devil. That he put in that vessel that we call white people. He taught them to tell one that when talking against him, and you overheard this, and you overheard, take him some false reports. That's why the Holy Quran says, "Oh, you who believe," says, if an unrighteous man brings you news, look carefully into it, lest you harm a people and then be sorry for what you did. The reason for killing Saddam Hussein was that he had weapons of mass destruction that he was hiding and was going to use against Israel and maybe America, right? Come to find out, he didn't have any, did he? That was never the reason for killing him in the first place. The reason for killing him was they wanted him out of the way. The first rule in dealing with the devil is don't. Huh? Approach not this tree, lest you be of the unjust. Who is more unjust than he who forges a lie and calls it the truth? Holy Quran says, who forges a lie against Allah, or says that revelation have been granted to him while nothing has been granted to him. Huh? So, you run around here, just like the man that wrote me this letter here. You don't find no religion called Kingdom of God. There ain't no such religion as that. You can't show me that Jesus called his religion Kingdom of God. Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. That's what he said. He didn't say your religion is kingdom of God. He said the kingdom of God is within you. If the kingdom of God is in any of you all other than me, why am I the only one standing up here inviting the world to come out here and have a discussion? You can't have no discussion because your arguments are not based on truth. They're based on your beliefs. And here this man, he's gloating over what he can make happen. There was a time when a man like that wouldn't have got on TV. Because the people were too enlightened to go for what he's selling. They've been asking him, what do you mean by that, man? You understand? You don't hardly ever hear white people ask a white man that they feel is racist. They hardly ask him nothing. Because, you know, those who sit in Congress making unjust laws and undoing just laws to replace them with something unjust, just like this voter ID thing. Huh? And then gloat about it. Yeah, this will stop them. Right? Okay, let's see here.
Say the voters inform the voters with hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign or educational expenditures to point out the fact that they broke the pledge.
If necessary.
I mean, you make it pretty clear. If someone breaks the pledge, you're going to do everything you can to get rid of them.
To educate the voters that they raise taxes. And again, we educate people
to get rid of them.
To encourage them to go into another line of work, like shoplifting or bank robbing, where they have to do their own stealing.
You got them by the short hairs.
The voters do, yeah.
And they have to march in lockstep with Grover Norquist.
With the taxpayers of their state. I applaud from the sidelines. I go, very good, yes, yes.
If nothing else, it is a brilliant...
What did he say? What did he say? He make it happen and he applaud from the sideline saying, goody, goody, yeah, yeah. Right? Just like they did that man there in that movie The Stand. All of them got together just to deceive him out of that $500,000. And he didn't have the slightest clue that everybody was in on it And just like you ain't had the slightest clue that they've been running game on you from the television. You so smart. Always got something insulting to say to me, but you don't never question what you hear on these news places bringing you all of this disinformation. You never hear them invite nobody to come on there and fact check them. One while they was call themselves doing their own fact checking, right? How come they don't fact check these women that's coming out here talking about Dr. Cosby? Because their handlers told them, you just bring them on there and let them talk. Huh? Let him sue them if they lying on it. Let him sue them. Why? So he can go in and spend up a bunch of money on what? A farce. Just make him spend up some money, right? And in the meantime, letting these people just come out. There was a time when they wouldn't have got to first base coming in there accusing somebody. Why ain't the station afraid to do that? Trying to destroy that man's reputation because they couldn't find nobody who could seduce him. Now they want to destroy him with gossip. That's not news, that's gossip. They keep on reminding you that he ain't never been convicted or even arrested for none of that, right? Then why are they entertaining these people? Because they know you don't care. You know, half of the black people mad at him because he aired some of our dirty laundry, talking down to us, huh? So whenever somebody cross you, you don't care how much lies is told on them. See, that's different between you and me. I'm a Muslim. Just because I don't like a person because they cross me, that don't mean I'm gonna help you lie on them. Because that's against my principles. That's against the teachings of Islam. Obviously, it ain't against Christianity, huh? Where's all of the Christians? You know, they always talk about they Christian people, right? Is that what you would like done to you? What you doing to Dr. Cosby and bringing all these people in there with gossip, who never filed any charges, and if they filed charges, they obviously didn't have no evidence because the man wasn't never arrested. You're gonna say, well, he had plenty of money. O.J. Simpson had a lot of money, but he got arrested. Didn't he? They trumped up some charges on Marcus Garvey and accused him of mail fraud and got him out of here. They put a bullet in Martin Luther King's head. Put a bullet in Medgar Evers. Now want to come out and hold them up as they respected him. If you respected him so much, what you murder him for? Am I teaching hatred? Okay. When you listen to this lesson, that black woman that was talking about what happened. Sounded to me like he threw her out. She said she cocked her head and called him a MF. Huh? Why? She didn't say because he tried to rape her, did she? Then what did he do that made her call him an MF? Didn't go for the game she was trying to run. Is that what it was? It is something to think about, huh? When we start thinking instead of just taking what somebody tells us. I'm not gonna run out on that brother as long as they ain't brought no tangible evidence other than their mouth. That man did too much for the what you might say the pride of black people. And if he hadn't done nothing, he don't deserve to be lynched. So all of you need to wake up. I had somebody send me an email saying these can't nobody act that good. What? Do you know what an Academy Award is? And you know, people say all kind of crazy stuff. So, you know, I just, you know, talking about them women, all them women ain't lying. Oh, no? I mean, when you look at them all there together, models and all that kind of thing, and ain't now one of them ever said that they went back and told the rest, watch out for Cosby. Huh? Because if they had said that, their whole story would have fell apart. Because then the question comes up, well, if all of y'all was coming back wanting each other, why you kept on going over that? Right? Then the other one say, well, because they tried to pay us to go in and seduce him. Huh? You heard Robert Koch tell you how intelligent Bill Cosby is. Did he tell you how intelligent he was? Well, he's a long way from being the dullest knife in the drawer, huh? He had sense enough to not fall into the trap that so many others fell into. You remember that stuff that they showed Martin Luther King of himself, right? Huh? Even sent a copy of it to his wife. Remember? So you sure you want to go down that road, try and call yourself trying to condemn Bill Cosby on some gossip? They ain't got nothing but gossip. At least that's all they done showed us. And if they had anything else, why didn't they show it to the police? Evidence does away with fear. Is that right? Especially when he done did something like that. He'd be broke now. So I guess he wasn't as dumb as you thought he was, huh? The messenger said they bound to come after us one day. Yeah. Well, you leave a lamb out there long enough, Google or whatever, he come after him. Is that right? Yeah. So you know, I'm out here. So did anybody have anything they wanted to add to question me about that they think didn't make no sense that I said? This is your opportunity. Why you get all on the internet and type all that stuff and won't come in here and say it while I'm on the air talking? I could address it while I'm on the air. To show you how unjust you are. Them people in the news don't ask nobody to come on there and say nothing. All they want you to do is tweet back and tell us what you think. Is that what they say? They don't want you to come in there and call up. The lines are open. Call up and we will go on there with you and listen to you rebut what you. They making commentary. Huh? Let the public question these women. Since you bringing them in front of the public. Got mad when one of the reporters asked him, well, why didn't you bite it off or whatever? Huh? Why should he? He could do anything. No, he ain't gonna do anything, you biting it off. I bet you he go holler. He gonna be in agonizing pain, but he ain't finna do that. Do you understand? So, you know, they lying. He keep doing stuff like that, he'll be looking for a job. Is that right? Yeah. He asking these lawyers why didn't they do this or why didn't they do that? They'll fire you. So I'm just satisfied that I've told you the truth. Be quiet, man. So I'm satisfied that I got your attention. I could show you some other things, but I'm gonna see what they're gonna do next. Might not be no need. They leave it alone, we'll leave it alone. Let's move on. Okay. But like I said, he came on our broadcast and spoke to us when we were just strangers, and then he didn't know us from nobody. And he talked to us like we had been knowing each other all our lives, huh? Telling all about his childhood and stuff. And you know, I got no problem with my own people criticizing me about whatever. If they criticize me and it ain't true, I'll talk with them about it. If they're willing to reason with me about it, and I can show them that it ain't right. It ain't true. If it is true, ain't no sense in me getting mad with them. It's time for me to correct it. But you don't have to throw me to the wolves. Just a moment. Well, I'm the kind of person that, you know, I don't believe in supporting that which I claim to be against. You know what? You know, there's an old saying. Wicked people prosper because righteous people do nothing. You say you for right? Well, then stop going along with wrong in silence. And all of you who doing this, you better correct yourself. Your money and all of that don't mean nothing to Almighty God Allah. You better correct yourself. There, I've warned you. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and return to the Lord, and he will abundantly pardon. You know what that means? If you just stop what you're doing, all that wrong that you're doing, just stop, and it will be forgiven. Because ain't nobody been right. Ain't nobody can claim that they've been righteous. Just correct yourself. From this point on. You don't want that? You don't want to do that? Fine. Okay. All right. Who listening that don't believe I'm the Son of Man? Come in here and tell the people why you don't believe it and why they shouldn't believe it. That's what basically they ask you at all marriage ceremonies. Any man can show just cause why these two should not be united in the bonds of holy matrimony. Let them speak now, or forever hold their peace. You hear anybody calling me a racist? You hear anybody saying that I'm lying? Okay. May Allah bless us all, keep us safe, and in our right mind. See, you got out of here 4:12. It's barely 11 o'clock. So look forward to speaking with you again. Maybe we can get on back in the scriptures. If they just leave Dr. Cosby alone, I can go on back. And but I'm not going to stop defending him when I ain't see where he guilty. Just a bunch of people standing up saying, when I done got a letter that a model wrote that she was offered $15,000 to get pictures and some sperm from him. As I told you, why would a rapist, and they're accusing him of being a serial rapist, why would you have to pay anybody to seduce him? All you have to do is wait for his next victim. Just send the next victim over there to him, saying that he's gonna try to do this, and you get the slow down on him when you come out of there. The minute you drink something or whatever, just tell him some emergency came up and you come on out of there, and then we will get your toxicology report. Take one before you go in there. See, that's what the first thing they'd have to do in order for it to be valid. And get him to undress or wear a wire. Huh? Just wear a wire. They got that kind of money to get wires, right? How come they didn't get to do that? Because everybody they sent got what that one got. grabbed by the arm and put in a cab. So, I hate to see that happen to anybody, but yeah. Yeah. May Allah's peace be unto you all who accept the truth. May Allah's salam alaikum.
Your conference recording has stopped.